At the age of 6, at my uncle's house in Brooklyn, I got bit by a dog. He almost tore my hand off. And you wouldn't believe it, but in those days, they used to put the dog's hair in the wound. Did you know that? Well, that's what they did to keep away, what do you call that? What do dogs give you when...
Rabies?
Yeah, against rabies.
The hair of the dog that bit.
The hair of the dog that bit. And so I had that. And it was all bandaged up. And then I went to the hospital. From there, we went home in Brooklyn. And the hospital took the hair of the dog out of there. And they put a bandage on it. Anyway, it took a little while for it to heal. It took about a year to close up and heal. But in the meantime, we lived in Brooklyn. And one Sunday, there was a whole bunch of people at the house in the living room. And most of them were mafia people, Al Capone people. So anyway, the living room was full of people. There must have been about 20 people there. Now, my father, he was very proud of me, especially when I would sing Italian songs, which he taught me. So now all these people are there and enjoying talking to each other and so forth. And my father says, he calls me and he says, "Come over here." And he picks me up and puts me on a chair. And he says, he names the name of the song in Italian, and he says, "Sing that song." Now all these people were watching this kid, 6 years old, blonde-headed kid. Not only that, I was blonde. All the other kids were dark hair, and I was pure blonde. So I made a good impression, and I sang real good. And I sang a few other songs, and they all clapped and applauded me and so forth. And then one of the people, he seemed to be a young man, maybe in his 30s. He came over to me and he handed me a $10 or $20 gold piece. It was a lot of money in those days. It's something worth like about $400 today. So naturally I gave it to my mother.
And what was like an average wage for your family at that point?
Well, I remember people used to work for $1 a day. In fact, there was a song in the army, or the army people, soldiers, work for $1 a day once a month.
So what he gave you was the equivalent of more than a year's wages.
Yeah, he gave me a lot of money. That was either worth $400 or $500. I mean, in that area, that's today's money.
Oh well, no, it's got to be more than that. If $1 a day. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that was worth a lot. So naturally
Probably
I gave
more
it
like
to my mother.
Probably more like 4 weeks' wages, if that was $1 a day. It was. But anyway, so did you recognize the people in the house?
I remember some of them were my cousins.
Okay.
But the guy who gave me the money, I never recognized him.
And where was this? Is also in Brooklyn?
This is in Brooklyn. Yeah.
And was your cousin Joe Profaci there?
No, he wasn't there, but
Okay.
a lot of his close comrades were there.
Okay.
So it was like a mafia meeting,
Yeah.
you know, at my house, at my father's house.
What was your understanding of the mafia when you were younger? Was it the Cosa Nostra? Was it more of protection for Italian people, or was it
Yeah,
criminal
I think it
activity?
was. I think it was like a good. I think it was good for the people. Anyway, I felt that way then. That they were not our enemies; they were our friends. So they might have been doing good things for the Italian people.
And these are Italian immigrants who were struggling to survive in the new country, whom they were trying to offer protection for. Right.
Well, I can't. I can't put an intelligent answer to all that because I was just young. I was only 6 years old then. But it was a tough life to live. You know, I called myself a depression kid. You know, just always seemed to want something to eat because I didn't have enough to eat. You know, in the wintertime it was always cold. My mother, we used to live. My brother and I slept in the room right where the railroad train was, not the railroad, the
Subway?
The subway train was. And the subway train was probably no further than 10 feet away from our window.
So it came right by your window?
Yeah. And at bedtime, my mother used to put a cask of hot water in bed with us to keep us warm. And I remember putting a glass of water on the windowsill. And the water was frozen by morning. That's how cold it was, even though we had that cask of hot water.
So in other words, you would sleep with a jug of hot water.
Yeah.
That would try to keep you. That would keep you warm, but it would grow cold, I guess, throughout the night.
We were under the covers and kept touching the cask of water. Yeah. Now, of course, that didn't last all night.
Tell me this: you mentioned once that your dad would actually go hunting in Brooklyn. What would he hunt for?
Yeah. Yeah, when we were in Canarsie, we used to go to Canarsie. And that was like open area. And hunt for blackbirds.
Blackbirds?
Blackbirds. My father used to shoot them. He had a double-barrel shotgun. And they'd come over as a flock sometimes, and it was bam, bam, 2 shots. And maybe 20 of them come down. My brother and I used to go out and pick them up and put them in a bag. And we used to eat them. We used to eat blackbirds. They were delicious.
How about owl or squirrel or anything like that?
Yeah. One time, this was in Chicago, he brought back an owl. And my sister said, yeah, but they eat mice. So they didn't want to eat the owl. So my father says, you going to eat it with me? I says, yeah, I will. He said, how does it taste? I said, it's just like chicken. Yeah, I would eat that because I was always hungry, especially for meat. So, what else?
Did you ever go fishing with your dad?
Yeah, when we used to go fishing mainly for eels. And that we ate a lot of eels. A lot of people don't like the idea of eels because they look like snakes, but they're just as delicious as can be. Yeah.